Narcissists often fall into this self-deceptive trap, which is they believe this delusion which they've created, which is that they mean more to you than you mean to them. Narcissists, they spend a lot of time and a lot of effort trying to get you to believe that you don't mean much to them. In a way that might seem confusing because through words, narcissists will say the opposite. They'll say that they can't live life without you, that they love you, that you're more important to them than anything, that they've never come across anyone like you before, and that they want to live the rest of their life with you. But at the same time, their actions show that you're dispensable, that they don't have any respect for you, that you don't really have worth in their eyes. And of course, maybe worst of all, they inflict a lot of pain on you and not only seem unbothered by it, but almost seem to enjoy watching you feel the pain which they've caused. And of course, that can be very confusing. Narcissists, until they get you to that place where they can see that you believe that they don't care as much about you than you care about them, until they get you to that place where they can see that you're suffering the cognitive dissonance between what they say and what they do, that confusion which keeps you constantly wobbly, on edge, unable to focus straight on the things that matter to you, they will keep trying to get you into that zone. And because the narcissists, they spend so much time trying to manage your perception of things in your own reality, because they spend so much time trying to gaslight you, sometimes they themselves become deluded. It's like when we try so hard to portray a lie as a truth, sometimes we ourselves believe that lie. And narcissists end up believing the lie that you don't matter to them. They end up believing the lie that the supply that you offer them, your giving nature, your nurturing nature, your self-sacrificial parts of yourself, all those things which on the one hand might seem like noble traits but end up causing harm against you and which benefit the narcissist, they end up believing the lie which is all those things that you provide them that they can do without. When they try to make you feel dispensable, they're also trying to buy into their own lie, which is they don't need those things. But of course they need those things. And as long as they're getting those things from you, and they have a few other secondary supplies on the side of whatever nature, then they're feeling okay, somewhat balanced. But when push comes to shove, and you're no longer a part of their life, unless they have someone of your caliber, and that's quite unusual, then all of a sudden they start experiencing a drought, because secondary suppliers are just that. Whether they're having side flings or other people who supply them in other ways, all that's fine and good as long as they have a primary supply source, the person who really channels their own energy and existence towards the narcissist, and the narcissist survives and thrives off that. And what narcissists often do is sometimes they'll do something to push their primary source away too soon or inadvertently, or sometimes they might have another primary source lined up, but that person hasn't been properly tried and tested and doesn't stick around very long after they've left you and gone to that other person. And so on. There's many reasons why that could cause the narcissist to let go of you and fall into this place where all of a sudden they're experiencing a drought. And it's in those moments, and sometimes those moments can last for months, years, even decades, where they're in this consistent drought, they're in this consistently low energy existence, where everything that you provided them, your self-sacrificial nature, they realize that they simply can't replace that, because not everybody is willing to do that. Not everybody is willing to fully sacrifice themselves. And of course, when narcissists fall into that space, into that zone, then they can only think of one of two things. One is, how can they get you back? And the other is, how can they get someone of equal caliber to you back? And if they don't have someone of equal caliber, equal potential as you, then finding somebody of that nature is extremely hard. Finding someone to be your slave, that you actually are willing to take into your life, that's not easy. And that's why narcissists, when they have prolonged periods of your absence and being consistently low on supply, energy, just wherewithal to exist, that they fall into this ruminating zone where they go, thought process after thought process. They're trying to think, how do they feel that gap? How do they feel that void? Because they don't like it. It's not fun. It's draining, to say the least, but how can you be drained if you have no energy to start off with? They often find themselves in that space where they can't function. So, if you ever did provide something of value to the narcissist, once they get all their supply needs, or rather supply sources, shut off, mainly being you, and they can't replace it, they have to find some way of plugging that gap. And if they don't have someone else, of course they're going to keep thinking of the thought of you. But of course, if you're the kind of person who caused an extreme narcissistic injury, or you're the kind of person who showed them once and for all that you're done, they will try to resist you. They will try to resist going back to you, especially if they've hoovered you 5 or 10 times and they realize that there's not much scope for them to creep in. But their ruminative thoughts, it's just part of the pathology of who they are. They can't simply do away with that. And while they try to get other replacements, the more they try to get a replacement of you, and the more they fail, the more exhausted they get. And it's almost like they run low on resources of even being able to ensnare another person. So just be aware that narcissists sometimes, when they're running low on supply, and if they need someone of your caliber, and if they think they can get you back, that's where you can expect a hoover. That's when you can expect them trying to make an appearance of sorts in your life. But if they're not really sure if they can make an appearance of sorts in your life, don't be surprised if they play games, maybe trying to rattle you up from afar, maybe trying to pull at your heartstrings directly or indirectly. Because narcissists, when they can't actually be a part of your life, they still try to get supply from being able to influence your emotions. So that's where you have to take the steps to insulate yourself from them. Like if you guys go to the gym together, then maybe you might want to join another gym. If you guys work together, then you have to perfect the gray rock method and really become secure in yourself. If you follow each other on social media, then, just stop following them. You don't necessarily need to unfollow, which you probably should. You don't necessarily need to block them, but just don't observe their posts. And if you have mutual friends, then just don't share things about you to the mutual friends, and never ever talk about the narcissist to your mutual friends. And if your mutual friends bring up a topic of the narcissist, then you should question whether that is a person who you want to keep as a friend. So, it's hardly the case that a narcissist who once had a very, very good supply from someone and lost it, it's hardly the case that they can permanently replace that. And they're constantly going into these periods of drought. And when that's the case, the absence causes them to ruminate on how to fill that void that they're experiencing. And if you were the kind of person who filled that void quite well, then that's where they start thinking about what you provided. And whether or not they'll make a reappearance in your life depends on if they think they have a chance, if how things were left off. But in any event, you should keep yourself insulated from their influence, because narcissists, at the end of the day, they want to be able to control your emotions, and they want to make you direct your focus towards them. Thanks for watching.